Hello, everyone. How are you today? How do you feel today? Do you feel okay? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? How are you today? Good to hear from you, Anna. Okay, let me see. Yes, we have some similar names. Anjali, is it your first time here? Nice. Today we have an interesting topic. I really like, let me share my screen with you. 1 second. Yes, here. I wish I put that one too, but it's okay. Here. Yes, hello from a beautiful December day. Today, we are going to look at some tips and strategies on task 1 question about the diagrams. I really like diagram questions because it is very obvious. Everything is so obvious in there and you have many clues to write about, and they in the last years, especially in the last 2 years, they have been giving lots of diagram questions. I am going to share with you some tips and strategies. Then we are going to look at one band 8 9 essay. I don't want to say band 9 because we don't because I am not sure about it. But for me, it is a band 9 essay. But I'm leaving a little bit flexibility here, and we are going to look at band 6 essay, and we are going to evaluate it together. We are going to discuss why is it band 6 essay. Yes, diagram questions show a process. There is a process like this. Oh, is it here? No. Yes, for example, in this question, yes, we are shown how sugar is produced from sugarcane. So this is the progress. They are showing a process to us. Sorry, they are showing a process to us. Like it can be something like a production of something, or again something they usually give something that is produced. For example, how to make olive oil from olives, how sugar is produced from sugar cane. The diagram questions are like this. And as you can see, they are already giving us so many clues on what to write about. For example, in here it says growing, harvesting, crushing, purifying juice, evaporator, centrifuge, and separate sugar crystals from syrup, and drying and cooling. So here there are lots of clues to write about. Yes, it can be a natural process or a manufacturing process. Like it can be like how to recycle plastic bottles, or the life cycle of a butterfly kind of things. Because it's for the task 1, in your answer, you need to write at least 150 words. You should explain the diagram only. No additional information, no analysis, nothing. We will just transfer what is given to us. Nothing extra. We don't need to write not anything extra. So first, you should plan what you are going to write, like one by one. Then you should have an organization on your mind. In the diagram questions, yes, this is more like obvious what you are going to write about, but have an organization on your mind. Maybe you can plan which words you are going to use. I am going to show you in a minute. Understand the process and include them in your essay, and do not try to include everything in your essay. Your task in the task one is to summarize the what is given to you. So, which vocabulary we can use to describe a type of diagram? For the verse, for example, we can use produce, make, distribute. There is usually a distribution process to moves, creates. So these are the verbs that you can use. If you want, you can take notes, but you can find this video on YouTube too. I will upload this one to our Clasital YouTube channel. And because we are speaking about it, let me share the link with you so you can find our channel. 1 second. I'm going to find it. Yes, here. I am sending you from the chat part. Then, what are the adjectives you can use? For example, if it is a natural process, you can use natural, human produced, man made, and you can use those cyclical, linear, or you can use the steps: first step, second step, last step, and so on. Because this is a process, you should use you should use 1, 2, 3 like this. You can use some subsequent words. For example, first, firstly; second, secondly; after that, afterwards; once, next, later; following this step, subsequently; finally, lastly; during, while, meanwhile. These are the adverbs that you can use that while you are writing a diagram essay, process essay. This is more accurate. When we move on to the question, I will ask you to write the essay actually. So, or take note, or keep these words in your mind, on your mind. Nouns we can use step, in this type, in this step, in this stage, at this stage of the production, or at this phase of your of the production, blah blah. So these are the things you can use. Okay, verbs to describe a cycle. For example, you are asked to write about the life cycle, or the cycle of recycle process or something. Recycle is a very common topic that is given in the diagram questions. Or repetition. You can use cycle, repetition, repeats, loops. Loops means like there is a loop, like. Yes. Recurs, reoccur, or continues indefinitely. You can use the cyclical, repetitious, begins, continues, follows, ends, repeats. They are all the verbs that you can use to describe a process. Any questions so far? Or I will continue with our question. Then let's continue. Let's get started. Okay, it says the diagram below shows the manufacturing process for making sugar from sugarcane. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. Okay, main features, make comparisons where relevant, write at least 150 words. As you know, as you know, in the IELTS exam, you should read the question very carefully. The question gives you clues about what to write. Let me see how sugar is produced from sugarcane. First, we have the growing. First, we should analyze the process very carefully. First, we have the growing phase. It takes 12 to 18 months. Then we have the harvesting part that the machines and the I'm just I'm just like using the general terms for it. Machines, or maybe they're using the man force. Then they are crushing the sugar canes. As you can see, I'm just using the words from there to make juice out of the sugar canes. Then they are purifying that juice. They're with using limestone filter. Then, with the help of an evaporator, they by heating this sure they by heating the juice, they are making syrup. Then they are centrifuge, and in this process, they are separate the sugar crystal from the syrup. Then, after the drying and cooling, they have they produce sugar. So, when we are writing task 1, first we start with introduction and overview. This is same for every task 1 question, introduction, overview, whether it is a bar chart, pie chart, map. It is same for every task 1 essay, introduction and overview. In the introduction, we are paraphrasing the question. So what is paraphrasing? We are retell the question with different words, with our own words. For example, in the question, it says the diagram below shows the manufacturing process for making sugar from sugarcane. First, I'm going to read my example. In my example, I'm saying the illustration outlines the steps of producing sugar from sugarcane. Okay. So, my students, what can you use instead of outline? And Mariam asked, do we need to follow the structure of writing like we use in the type 2? Actually, in the task 1, we don't have to write a conclusion, but we should write an overview. No, we don't have to write a conclusion for the task 1, but we need to write an overview. But like if you don't write an overview in the second sentence, you can write your overview as an conclusion, but you don't need to write a conclusion. Let me see my answer. Shows very good. display, shows, summarizes. Very good. Can we say the illustration? What? The diagram illustrates, gives the information of making. Yes, we can use give information of the process. Tell, we can use tell. Very good. Okay, let's please from the chat part write me an introduction. I will wait for 2 to 3 minutes for your answers. Write me an introduction for this question. You are going to write a sentence. You are going to write a sentence that has same meaning with that sentence. With the, of course, with the like subject, verb, object uh, structure. It should be a sentence. Abdullah. Anjali says the diagram illustrates the process of sugar production from sugarcane. Very good. Manufacturing process of sugar from sugarcane. Use the words, use the subject, verb, object. The process given explain the different steps of producing sugar from its crop. Crop. Okay, but if I were you, I wouldn't change the keywords like the sugar cane. Use sugar cane. Do not change it. The diagram reveals how sugar is made from sugarcane. Nice. Jean Nuttall says the given diagram illustrates the manufacturing process. I think you can use process of sugar from sugarcane. Very good. Manufacturing structure. It doesn't sound very natural to me. In this diagram, we will explain who, not we. The diagram shows. And who is you? We? Who is we? Maybe you should exclude that we, I, because this is a process. I know that you will explain, but use a more formal language. In this diagram, the process of manufacturing progress of sugar from sugar case will be explained. For example, do not use we, I in here because it doesn't ask for your opinion. You're just summarizing it. Think it like a report. The diagram shows the process, not that. Mahesh, I'm saying it for you. The diagram shows the process of sugar from it, the process of the production process, production process of sugar from its crops. Do not change the keywords. Sugarcane, use them. The sketch. the sketch the sketch This is not a sketch, actually. This is a proper diagram. This is a diagram. Maybe you can this image, but this is not a sketch. Sketch is something that, of course, it has different meanings, but usually, like naturally, we are using it. Sketch is something you draw before the actual work before the actual like drawing. The diagram shows the okay, I think we have finished. This is a step or process. This is a process, not step. But you can use step 2 in first step, in the second step. But it is both actually. I will answer both. This is step by step. They are explaining a process. Okay, good. Let's continue. Overview. Okay, what are we doing at the overview part? At the overview, we are outlining, we are giving a very general description of what is shown to us in the diagram. Very general, no detail, no example. We are not giving example like all together in the task 1, but no detail, like a general idea. For example, as it is clearly delineated in the diagram, sugarcane plants get ready to be processed for manufacturing sugar when they are over 1 year old, and the process involves harvesting, crushing, making syrup, centrifuging, and finally drying and cooling. So this is a very general overview. For example, you can say as it can be seen from the diagram, sugar is produced from the sugar canes in 7 process. These are blah 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 blah. Oops. I wish I leave that part to you. Okay. Do you want to write an overview, or I will just skip this part and let me see what time is it? Okay. I will just skip that part, give a very general overview. This is a very like the main idea of the task 1. But this is a very important part. You should add that part. But let's continue with our body paragraph 1, process. We are talking about a process. First, I'm going to read my example, then I will read yours. As the diagram depicts. This is a new word too. Sugarcane plants are harvested from the fields when they are at least 1 to 1.5 years old for the purpose of making sugar from them. They are harvested either manually by human laborers or by using machines. In the third step, these sugar canes are crushed in a crusher machine to produce juice. So I'm just explaining the process. Now, my students, this is your turn to write me a overview and the summary are same. Yes, they are the same parts. Now, I want you to write me a body paragraph. For example, you can just conclude like 1, 2, 3. Explain me 1, 2, and 3. We are going to write 2 body paragraphs, by the way. So in the first one, we can talk about the growing, harvesting, and crushing, and in the body paragraph 2, we can write about the purifying, evaporator, centrifuge, and drying and cooling stages. Use first, second, then, afterward, whatever comes to your mind. I will wait for 2-3 minutes for your answers. You can maximize the image by from the three dots on the right corner, right up right corner. It says full screen, minimize, maximize. You can use that three dots. As we can see, comma, sugar production process starts from growing sugarcane. Nice. After 1 to 1.5 years, sugarcane can be harvested either by human labor or by harvesting machines. Very good. As we can see that. Use a comma. You are using, I think it was you using that. No, it wasn't you. You can use a comma here. As we can see, I'm reading Ansa's answer in the very first step. Nice. The year old, one 1 year old crops of sugar cane. Okay. The year of. Can we use it like that? No. It's like the year of tiger, like in the Chinese calendar. The year of something. The year of crops means it is the year of the crops. So like in the very first step, 1 year, 1 to 1 years, 1 to 1.5 years old crops of sugar canes, s, because you are using are harvested either by machines or they are cut manually. Okay. In the second This is the second step. Harvesting is the second step. Be careful. Growing is the first step. Harvesting is the second step. Crushing is the third step. Answer. In the second step, sugar canes are brought to the crushing machine to make juice. The juice? No, we are using juice here for the first time. So because we haven't mentioned it before, we can't use the. Maybe. Anna's answer. As it described in the diagram, sugar cane should be harvested when it is 1 to 1.5 years old. Okay, this process is done either by people or by machines. Okay, Anna, I will use is done either by people or by machines. Okay, it is okay. You're telling me the process, but maybe you may want to use more formal language to get a higher band score from the about the vocabulary from the vocabulary part. Nimlai. At first, Nimlai, where are you from? At first, sugar canes are collected from the field. Okay. Then the leaves, these are not the leaves, these are the canes. These are different. Use the keywords. Change the other things. Use the keywords. Are trimmed and trimmed. Okay. And put in crushing machine. Okay. But how will you read to 150 word if you tell me that first three process with just one with two sentences? You should write at least 150 word. Abdullah sensor, as shown in the diagram, the sugarcane takes about 11 to 18 months to grow completely before going into harvesting process. Okay, nice. After being harvested, the sugarcane goes to, maybe you can use goes to undertake. You know what is undertake? Let me show you Oxford. Let's look at it from Cambridge. Undergo, undergo, for undergo. No, baby. It says it is used for something, but I'm trying to find a verb that other than. But well, I lost your answer. Other than goes to process. Use more sophisticated verbs where the syrup is extracted from its raw shape. After being sugarcane goes to the process. Use the keywords. Again, use the keywords. Use the words given to you in the graph, in the diagram. Mahesh says, firstly, we have to grow sugar cane at least 12 to 18 months. After that, there are two techniques of harvesting: by using machine or cutting manually. In the third step, the sugar canes are crushed by the crushing machine, and after this process it will change into juice. It will turn into, maybe change into juice. Sorry, it will transform to the juice, maybe change into juice, change into. For example, let me see. For the change I'm looking to make it different, you can say change, alter, vary, convert. What do you think of it? Turn into, maybe transform. Look for the synonyms. Where am I? Anjali says, then the sugar canes are crushed in the crushing machine and the juice is extracted from it. Okay, nice. Divya says, the given illustration shows the production of sugar cane from the sugar in which the given illustration shows the production of sugar from the sugar cane, which includes the growth growth of the sugar canes, which is about 12 to 18 months. Very good, Divya. But be careful, you are saying they are making sugar cane from sugar. Subject verb agreement. You have a subject verb confusion actually. Subject object confusion. Sorry. I don't know what did I say. Subject object confusion. I say subject verb confusion. Followed by harvesting and then includes the crushing, but very good. I really like the first sentence of this Divya. Includes the growth, which is about 12 to 18 months. This is very good. Nimna from Nepal. Mena says, as the diagram shows, firstly, it takes a year and a half. It takes a year or a year and a half to grow sugar cane. Secondly, sugar cane are canes. Uh, Plural, you're saying are. Secondly, sugar canes are harvested by using machine or labor or human force. Labor is labor. Okay, this is okay. Using machine or labor, then crush them. Then crush them. Then it is crushed, maybe. You can use passive voice here. Then crush them. Who is crushing them? In crushing machine. Mariam says, as shown in the diagram, the crops of the sugar cane, not cane, grow in 1.5 year. 1 to 1.5 year, actually. Then it is either harvested manually or by machines. Nice. After that, juice of the sugar it can be extracted. Be careful about how to use the passive by putting sugar cane in crusher. By putting sugar cane in the crushing machine, maybe. Whew. Nice. I hope that you can see your mistakes. I hope that you can see your uh, weaknesses and the powers. Yes, okay. Then let's continue by the paragraph 2. Afterward, the produced juice is purified by a limestone filter before an evaporator. A little bit bigger, yes. I think I won't be able to do it. Afterwards, the produced juice is purified by a limestone filter before an evaporator heats the juice to create the syrup. Sugar crystal is separated. Actually, sugar crystals are separated from the syrup in a device called a centrifuge. Do you know the centrifuge? They are putting the blood samples in there and they're using the centrifuge like there's a center, it's like the final step involves drying and cooling the produced sugar crystals to make the sugar be consumed. This is my example. Now you can come on. Oh. Now you can write your paragraph by the paragraph about the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh steps. Write me a yes high speed circulation like this, like It is very, centrifuge is very similar. We have a very similar word that has the same meaning. Yes, write me another body paragraph. I will wait. Careful about the grammar. All pictures are not visible. Do you want to see the first ones too? But we are writing by a paragraph too. These parts are enough. I'm doing it for you to see it more clear.
Last four pictures are also not visual. And
You can't see it? How about the other ones? Can you see the process 4, 5, 6, and 7?
I see only two.
You see only two? Nimlay. Let me see. Let me see. Maybe you can maximize your screen from the three dots. Because right now I'm seeing it. Okay.
Yeah, now okay.
Use the keywords as I said. Do not change them. Let's read Anjali's response. At the at the at first stage. At the first stage, the extracted juice is purified by using limestone filter, and then, nice, it is heated to evaporate the water content from in it. Actually, not the juice becomes syrup. Heat. Yes, to evaporate the water content from it, and after evaporation, comma, you're using that instead of comma. Put a comma there, because I can sense that you feel the need to stop, to pause there a little. That's why you are using that. Instead of using that, put a comma there. And after the evaporation, juice juice becomes, not will become, because it becomes, it's a very general, like when you the juice becomes, will become in sure form, will hmm. Turn, maybe. Yet. I'm not sure. Maybe you can use a different verb here. Where is it? The become in sure form. Transfer to sure form, maybe. Turns into, maybe. Abdullah says, after the extraction of juice, it is purified using a limestone filter. That's very good. The purified juice is then evaporated to syrup form. Afterward, the centrifuge is used to separate the sugar crystals from the syrup, and finally, very good, it is cooled down to make the final product, sugar. Okay, maybe you don't need to write the sugar in the brackets, because it is so obvious. We are talking about sugar already. Mahesh says, after that, we have to put juice into evaporator and give some heat for making juice syrup. Oops, where is it? We have to put we. Try to use. It doesn't seem very formal to me, but it should be formal. Think of it as a report, not like you are giving a receipt, a cooking receipt to someone, but you are writing a report about it. Think of it as an experiment. Meanwhile, sugarcane separates sugar crystals. Oops. You are saying sugarcane itself, sugarcane, like the vegetable, the sugarcane separates the sugar crystals by centrifuge, by using centrifuge, but you are saying the sugarcane is doing it. Subject-object confusion. In the last step, we have to to drying and cooling. We have to dry and cooling sugar. We have to dry and cool sugar, but as I say, do not use we. It doesn't sound formal. Use passive voice. Then it is ready for use. It is ready for use. It is ready to use. Divya. Why do you say sorry? By the way, I'm just giving feedback. Do not feel bad about it. There is no negative thing. We are just trying. We are making like exercise. This is a exercise. This is the workshop that we are doing. This is how you develop. So do not like. Uh, I'm trying to encourage you to write better. So, this is a way to see your mistakes. Do not worry about them. Of course, you will make mistakes. This is how you develop. So, don't worry. And do not hesitate to write. Do not hesitate to make mistakes. These are very normal processes. I am doing it. I am giving you feedback to make you better. Ansa says, the extracted juice is purified by using limestone filters. Nice. It is then, it's, you're using it is second time. It is heated in vessels. Nice. In vessels, and after evaporation, it turns into a thick syrup. This is a comment. We don't know if it is thick or not. Do we have any information about it? 1 second. No. This is not given. We don't know. Maybe it is thin. Maybe it is very loose, like it is very thin. Next, the syrup is centrifuged. Centrifuged. Where am I? In a special machine. Okay. Yes, it is a special machine. During this process, the sugar crystals are separated from the syrup. Nice. In the last step, the sugar crystals are cooled and dried. Nice. In large containers. Nice. And also you can add, then it's in the last step, the sugar crystals are cooled and dried in large container, and in this way the sugar is produced. For example, and at the end of this process, the sugar is produced. Sorry, after giving so many feedback, my brain stops. Thank you for the feedbacks. Divya, didn't I read yours? After crushing, next step includes. I think I haven't read it. Divya says, after crushing, the next step includes the purification where limestone filter is used. Nice. Purification of juice, maybe. Further. Maybe. Further, it evaporates. And the juice, it evaporates. Be specific. The juice is evaporated and the juice becomes the syrup through the heat. Okay, very good. Through the heat is a very nice usage. Next, it is centrifuge in which there is a separation of the sugar crystals. A separation. This is a name. This is a noun, and before the nouns, we are using articles a and d. There is a separation of sugar crystals from the syrup. Concluded. Maybe you, Divya, maybe you should work on your like linking words, like further concluded. Somehow it sounds strange. Concluded. In the conclusion step, In the last step, maybe. In the last step, concluded by drying and cooling of. In the last step, the sugar crystals are dried and cool are left to drying and cooling, and then it produces sugar. Mina, I haven't read yours. After that, the juice extracted by using limestone filter. In the next step, it is heated in an evaporator to turn juice into syrup. In a centrifuge, comma, sugar crystal is separated from the syrup. Okay, maybe you can use plural too. I made that mistake too. Actually, it is not a mistake, but this is not a one crystal and the syrup. So they're like extracting all the sugar particles in that are separated from the syrup. Last step includes drying and cooling to make sugar. Nice. Mina, Mariam says, for making sugar, extracted sugar juice. Then put in lime. Cross out the then here. For making sugar, then to make sugar, extracted sugar juice put in the limestone purifying filter, and after this stage, you have already said it, you don't have to say it again. And after this stage, it transferred into evaporator. It goes to evaporator. Now here we have goes, where the juice converted into a very nice thick syrupy material. We don't know if it is thick or thin. Don't use it. It is not a given information. Use just the given information. Material. In the second last step. In the second last step. Second last step. Second last step. I'm not sure about that one. Second last step. Okay, I understand your point, but maybe this is a way of our thinking. Maybe I'm not sure about it. The sugar syrup put into centrifuge, we separate sugar crystals and sugar crystals from syrup, which separates the sugar crystals from syrup. You are saying sugar crystals, sugar syrup, repetition. There are lots of repetition. At the end, sugar crystals dried, dried, dried. Yes, I understand your point, Mariam, from the second last step, but I'm not sure if they are using this structure, second last step. No. At the end, sugar crystal dried and cooled. If you are using dried in the second verb, do not like abandon this attitude and continue using it. Dried and cooled, so it become ready to use. Nice finish, like become ready to use is nice. And yes, and that is all. I am glad to hear that answer. Oof. Actually, I have a. Oh, let me read mine so we can have a general idea about how to write it. Then we can finish the lessons. And meanwhile, while I am reading it, if you have done the post-lesson survey before, you don't have to do it. But if you are new here, I will really appreciate if you can fill out the post-lesson survey. Okay, in my example, meanwhile, while you are doing the survey, I can read mine. It says the illustration outlines different steps of producing sugar from sugarcane, as it is clearly delineated in the diagram. So sugarcane plants get ready to be processed for manufacturing sugar when they are over 1 year old, and the process involves harvesting, crushing, making syrup, centrifuging, and finally drying and cooling. As the diagram depicts, sugarcane plants are harvested from the fields when they are at least 1 to 1.5 years old for the purpose of making sugar from them. They are harvested either manually by human laborers. Human laborers. It sounds a little bit strange too. Or by using machines. In the third step, these sugar canes are crushed in a crusher machine to produce juice. Afterwards, the produced juice is purified by a limestone filter before the juice is heated by an evaporator to create the syrup. Sugar crystals are separated from the syrup in a device called centrifuge. In the final step involves drying and cooling the produced sugar crystals to make the sugar that we consume. And that is it. Maybe it is not 150 words, but probably it is, but I'm like, it seems short to me now. But the readers, the examiners are not counting your word count too, are not counting your word too. However, if you write short, they may pay attention to that. But for example, if it is like 149 words, if you're not that unlucky, they won't realize that. Abdullah says we don't have to write the headings, right? No, we don't write. We don't have to. No, no, no. You will write like this. Okay, my students. It makes 164 words actually. So it is like over 150. Okay, if you have done the post lesson survey, this is all from me today. Thank you very much for joining. I really like writing lessons. Further concluded. You can use further, of course. But conclude. Concluded. Concluded. Concluded is not a. Concluded sounds very strange to me. I think there is not concluded is not a verb, not an adjective, not an adverb. Like this is something different. Do not use okay. If it doesn't sound natural to you, do not use it. And concluded somehow feels strange. Further, for example, you can say in the further steps because further is no, not state further. Further, just further. Why does it doing? Oh, not reserves because. Sorry. What did I say? Concluded. Conclude. Okay. Conclude verb. Conclude verb. Verb. And what did I say? further, huh? Let me stop it. For further is an adverb, maybe. In the further stages, further for example, do you have anything further to add? If you have any further problems, let me know. Further stages, any further things. At the end, like, yes. Yes, these are all